Okay, so what we're going to do now is I'm just gonna go ahead and create like this extra detail up here. And then I'm going to show you a fun little trick that I like to use, which is that I often like to simply use Megascan assets, if we have them, of course, if we have them that fit. And basically use those as like part of the blockout, just to save some time. So, let's go ahead and go over here, and for this piece, all I need to do is, so it's like straight, round, straight, not too difficult. Let's go ahead and create like a cube. Also, what you can do is you can turn off align to normal, and then the cube will just like stay straight. I'm gonna make it like 30 by 30 by 30 over here, and just place it over here and accept. Let's see, so I'm gonna move this up until this point over here. I'm gonna extend this out, probably something like this, and move it sort of in the center. And then it's just a matter of like going into my edit poly. And let's see, let's move this here and let's go insert edge loops, even. Let's add 2 loops. And yeah, by this point I expect that you already kind of like know the drill, so I'm not gonna explain everything too much anymore. At least not like the really obvious stuff. So insert edge loop, let's do like 4 maybe. And done. Let's press accept and just have like a loop. Maybe I make it a bit wider. And then it's just a matter of like grabbing these 4, moving them up, grabbing these 2, moving them up. Oh, I feel like I need a little bit more, so let's make it a little bit more drastic over here. And then it's also just a matter of like grabbing these, and I'm going to just like move them up a little bit more to make them a bit bigger. Yeah, it's not the best one, but it's just like to indicate that there is something going to be here. So if I add a gray, does it kind of like indicate it? It does. I just feel like, I don't know. I feel like maybe like pushing these ones down, just because I do want to make it look a little bit nice. So, yeah, something like that should work. And then you can grab, of course, like this top piece, and we want to just go ahead and we want to add an insert edge loop. Oh, let's do proportional offset. And we want to add them in the end, over here and over here. And then for these ones, I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to, let's see, let's place 1 in the center. And 1 on each side, and just press done. And it's just a matter of pretty much like grabbing. I think it's probably easier if we grab the faces actually, because right now we have quite a bit of geometry going on. And just kind of like pushing that in. Oh, that's awkward. That this one does not continue on. That's a little bit annoying. I also wonder why it would do that. In that case, because I just don't really want to spend too much time on it, what I will do is I will grab these pieces over here. And I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to push those in. There we go. Just to indicate that it goes a bit round. And then from a distance, yeah, there we go. Okay, awesome. So, what we're going to do now is we are just going to go ahead and import some Megascan assets that we can use. And it's mostly because I happen to know that Megascan has a bunch of like Japanese assets. So let's just go ahead and go up here. And this is already built inside of Unreal Engine 5. So we can go up here and go to our Quicksell bridge. Now of course you want to log in and everything, but all of the Megascan assets are free. So we can go to our 3D assets. And I'm just going to type in Japan over here. And there we go. So now we get like a bunch of 3D assets from Japan. Now most of these are not really what I'm looking for, but this one over here. And I can see that I even already had it before. This one I think is quite good. So this is like just like the roofs that we can temporarily use just to indicate where the roofs are going to be. So I'm just going to go ahead and add that. Now there's some walls over here I can see I used, but I'm not sure if I need those yet. So let's leave those. This one over here that looks like typical like that piece over here. So that's actually quite good. Let's go ahead and also add this one. And I guess if you want to save time later on, you can literally just use the Megascan asset and you don't have to create the things yourself. But I, of course, want to just like create it a little bit. I think for now that's actually fine. I think those are the main ones. The roof was the main one that I wanted to use. Now let's go ahead and go over here and then I can also show you how to use it. So we have pretty much like a flat area over here and then we have another thick beam sitting next to it. At least that's what it looks like to me. So what I can do is I can grab this thick beam over here and I assume... Yeah, I'm not completely sure yet where exactly this beam would be, but it has to do with, of course, extending out this shape over here. So let's first of all just go ahead and create this one. I'm just zooming in on my reference over here. So for that one, let's go ahead and go back to our modeling tools and we can go box. And I'm gonna make the width like 200. I will change it later on, don't worry. The depth is going to be like 20. And the height is gonna be like, let's try 250 maybe. Let's start with this. And now let's just define it a little bit more. So I can just change my camera settings. So let's have a look. So we have this piece over here and I want to kind of like have it sitting near the back like this. Now in terms of the height, we can just simply have a look and we can see that this one ends about like half a meter to a meter below this joint over here. So I would say like it ends roughly over here and then we will have our roof. Now in terms of like the width, it's up to us to decide that. If I go ahead and go... Yeah, actually, you know what? This looks quite logical. Yeah, this looks quite logical. So basically, I'm just having a think because our additional piece over here next to it, we have very limited information. So we just need to have like a think about how that one will fit next to everything. But I think if we just have like a beam like this one, and we want to kind of like, wait, let me just create like a I'm just creating like a guide over here. If we just create like a simple guide, which is just like a cube that I place exactly on here, which allows me to properly make sure that my beam and everything is also aligned over here. And then I can also make sure that this one is aligned. There we go. I think that that is a pretty good position. But we have to wait and see. So for this piece, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and go back into my materials and add a gray material to this. And I'm going to go into my poly edit and let's see. So I want to add a little bit more detail. So what I will do is I will add one additional beam over here. I think that looks quite nice and I can just scale it down probably. Push it in a little bit more. Yeah, I feel like that feels quite nice. So one here and then I guess it would make sense to also have one on the other side just for like proper symmetry. And now for this one, just move these things a little bit back. And I'm going to have, let's see, insert edge loop. Let's start with an even edge loop. Start with like a single one in the center. And then I want to have another one, another two on this side. I'm just following my reference by the way. Done. Insert edge loop, proportional edit, and let's see. Let's have one roughly here and another one roughly here. Yeah, okay, let's start with this. I still feel like it's not high enough, but I guess we just have to wait and see. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to go ahead and add some thickness to them. So we want one loop here, one here. I guess it would make sense to have one here, 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 and here. and another one here and here. And now if I just go over my selection, I want to select, let's see. No, sorry, I want to select these ones over here. I want to select this one. I'm just looking at my reference, so that's why I'm a bit slow. And then this will be extended out also, actually. So all of this can be selected. The pivot is a bit in the way. And this one will also be extended. So if we go to extrude, we can push this in. Push back a little bit more. Oh, so it looks a bit buggy, but I think that this will work pretty well. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to add like some wood plank details or something like that. Just something very, very basic. And I can do that simply by adding like by just adding this box. And let's make it like a little bit wider, a little bit thinner. Maybe give it like, I quite like these type of wood slates where it's like slightly angled and stuff like that. And just kind of like scaled up. I think maybe make it like a little bit wider. Oh wait, you know what? I'm already going to add my gray material because else when creating a lot of duplicates it's annoying. And let's just go ahead and add these. Okay, and then what I can do is I can just extend this one up, press dup to duplicate it, and then just grab one of the edges and just push them back in. Here we go. And now it's just a matter of selecting them. And this is something that I think I've not shown you yet, but you can also have a merge function up here next to dup, which allows you to basically just merge them all into one object, which makes them a little bit easier to manage. Okay, cool. So we got this one done. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to edit my Megascans roof tiles over here. It's a bit annoying that it does not generate your subtitles, or your thumbnails. And it looks like that it also doesn't do it here. I can remember there was a function where you can like generate your subtitles, but where you can generate your thumbnails, but what I tend to do is I tend to just quickly open them up, because I need to open them up anyway. The only difference is that I do not need all of these. So this one I can use, this one, this one, this one, but I don't really need these pieces over here. Don't even know what this is, so let's just get rid of it. This one I can use, this one not, and this one. So I basically just want like the big pieces. Then I'm just going to go ahead and add a gray material to them. And then basically we can take it from there. So let's go ahead and just add this. This and here. And then you can just close, and if you just press save all, it will automatically save all of them. So let's have a look. I want to have like this straight piece over here that also has like some additional details. And basically what I'm going to do is I'm just gonna kind of like, this feels like quite a good position, I guess. I'm just gonna go ahead and play around with it. So let's see if we have two of them over here. At this point what I do want to do is I probably want to go ahead and create my second viewport over here, just to make it easier for me to quickly like integrate or change certain things. So I'm just gonna move this viewport over to my other screen, and let's have a look. So we have these two pieces over here. I'm going to probably like scale them in a little bit more, just so that they fit a bit better. And yeah, the reason I make them gray is because it is really confusing when you are looking at a white scene and all of a sudden you have like one thing that is textured. And I just never really liked that. And maybe make them like a little bit thicker. And I think that should do the trick, probably. Yeah, and I will fix this side thing over here like a little bit later. Yeah, okay, I think this should do the trick. I don't know if I even need to create like something on the back side for now. I'll just see if that even shows. I mean, yeah, I guess it does show something a little bit over here. But that's something that maybe we will just go ahead and focus on a little bit later. So we basically have this one that's already looking good. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to my modeling mode, duplicate, and then for this one, for now, I'm probably going to, I don't know where. I probably want to like extend this in, actually. I feel like it makes more sense for me to have, and I need to like be a little bit more precise, to have this fall under the beam. Of course, it doesn't have to be absolutely perfect, but yeah, there we go. That makes a little bit more sense. And now I'm of course looking on my other screen, and there over here I can see that it does kind of fit. So we got these ones. That's already looking pretty good. Now what I will do is I will also go ahead and already duplicate it over here. And let's first of all go ahead and start with like the right side, and then because the left side I want to do something a little bit more special. And that's basically like I don't want to use the same piece over and over and over again too much. So that's why I often just like change things up a little bit. So we have these pieces over here. Let's go ahead and duplicate that. And it looks like that I am going, well, I am going around the corner, but I need to probably like scale one up a little bit, because if I go ahead and go, let's say over here, so let's say that I go around the corner, probably around, yeah, probably around like this side. That means that for these ones, just need to like push this one in. And for now, I think I can get away with scaling. Yeah, here, see, and if I just scale this in, yeah, I can probably get away with that. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to also grab this corner piece over here. And I feel like it would make sense to kind of like just have it neatly sitting in place over here. Just give me 1 second. I'm just trying to get like in a nice position. Because it's not really working, because if I scale one side, of course the other side also changes. But that should do the trick. So let's go ahead and also grab these pieces over here. And now it's more like a guessing work, because if I grab one of these, I need to switch it over to a corner piece over here. And yeah, I know that the corner piece doesn't look very good because it like goes upwards. But see, if I just delete that one and then move this, I don't know where. I'm just looking on my other screen, by the way. That's why I reply a bit slow. Actually, yeah, that might actually work. So if I just push this one here, and it can just clip into each other, that is no problem for now. Yeah, okay, that might work. Let's go ahead and rotate another one 90 degrees. Just gonna scale this one up a little bit over here and push it in. And let's see how far I need to go, because I want to probably extend this one out outside of the view. So if I just go ahead and place like 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, I feel like at this point, along with like foliage and everything, it will extend out onto the rest. So that should be fine. I do not really like that there's such a big gap over here, but I don't think there's much we can do because it's just like a blockout, so that's fine. Okay, so let's go ahead and also duplicate this one over here until it extends outside of the view. And yeah, so that's a little bit of like the cheating. Like, of course, if you're making a game environment, you want to make this a lot more logical in terms of like for gameplay purposes. But I'm showing you all of the techniques that you need, and literally the only difference between the environment that we create and a environment where you can actually play in is that you would probably just like do the level art of the entire thing, and we are just doing the level art for like the pieces that we can see, if that makes sense. So it's just like our way of saving a little bit of additional time, because for me to make an entire gameplay environment, like, it just takes so long, to be honest. And it's not something that will really be beneficial in a tutorial. Yeah, let's just for good measure, I will do this. But at this point, as you can see, that's looking pretty nice, where it kind of like just goes outside of the view. So let's see, so we got those shapes over here. I feel like, can I maybe like move my camera more like up? Just trying to basically see like a good position, but it's a bit tricky to get like a good position this early on. Okay, yeah, let's do something like this. So we got these sides over here and also these walls. Over here on the inside, we will work on that later on, so that you cannot just like look through and see like the sky, because that never looks good. But that will also come when we do our foliage and everything. I will say, because the left side is quite like a large side, I will do that in a new chapter. So the last thing that I will probably do here is, although I also feel like that this one could probably be a little bit wider, but I'm not sure. The last thing is I'm going to balance out this last piece over here. And then I want to just use that, what is it called? Like the little wooden lamp for the rest. So first of all, I have the urge to make this a bit wider. It feels a little bit like squashed, and I don't really like that effect. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and grab this. And kind of just cheat and just like scale it in. And let's see if that looks any better. Let's move this one over here and scale it a bit. Yeah, that does feel better, right? I know that like over here it's like a little bit wider than this one, but I don't know, to me that does feel a little bit better, having just like a little bit of like a bigger view. So let's leave that one at that. And I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to save my scene. Now quickly open up this Japanese lamp and just switch out the material for a gray material. Here we go. And now for this one, it's more a matter of using it and placing it and scaling it in a way that looks logical. So if we have a look over here, they are quite large. So we kind of like want to just see what will work best and which scaling will work best. I feel like something like, yeah, maybe something like this looks more logical. Now we also need to create something at the base before we can actually do anything else. So let's go ahead and create a box. Let's do 50 by 50 by 50. Yeah, let's just place that here. And I'm just going to create whatever we can see in the reference, which is pretty much just a, yeah, it's just like grabbing our box, manipulating it to fit the rest, and then I'm just going to push this one down. I'm going to use my scaling to kind of like give it a bit of like angle, and I'm going to also push the top in probably like a little bit. Or not. Nah, you know what? No, I don't like that. So, okay, so we now have like a base. It's art gray material. And I'm just basically playing around while looking at my screen over here to make sure that it is in like a pretty logical position and not like in like a really strange scaling. I don't know. Maybe a little bit smaller. Just trying to get like a good sense for it. Of course, later on when we think that we are done with the environment, that's when I like go in and also just double check, making sure that the scaling is correct and all that kind of stuff. I think for now this is fine. I'm just gonna go ahead and just to give it like a little bit of extra detail, just like do an inset on every area. Over here. And now I should be able to just select all of them. And then extrude, and I want to make sure that the extrude direction mode is set to our normal mode. And just push it in. There we go. Just to give it like a little bit extra. And then just like in the concept, let's go ahead and push this over here. And let's have a look. So that already looks, yeah, it's still, I feel like it's still missing something, but I don't know what it is. I feel like maybe, here, let's delete this for now. Maybe if we just go to our pivot and set this at the bottom, this one can go like a little bit lower. This one can be pushed in, and then the entire thing can be like a little bit smaller. I feel like that sort of fits a bit better if we go for something like that. Okay, cool. So we got this one. Now I want to go ahead and just very quickly, because I often like to do this whenever I finish like a part, is that I'm just going to go ahead and go in my large view over here. And I'm just going to once again play around and see if my field of view and everything is working. So let's do 50. Let's see what it does with 40. No, I think I like 50. So let's go 50. And let's just try and see if we can get a more interesting position. Maybe move it up a little or closer a little bit. Yeah, I think something like that looks quite nice. And then maybe see if we already can open the door. Okay, so later on, I will not do it now because then I get distracted by the sky behind it. So we got this, which is pretty good. I'm going to try and maybe move down here my top a little bit more. And then I will just say like this is the main view, but of course we will have additional views. So it's not like we are missing out on that really nice top detail later on. But doing this, and I feel like, let's see, I'm just double checking. So just bear with me. I'm just like looking a lot at my reference over here. And just checking to see if like maybe the doors are like, no, I want the doors to be quite a bit higher than these pieces over here. So the doors are correct. These ones are correct. Like we have our wall. I feel like this is a little bit all too thick. So maybe like just, actually no, it's just these two. These two feel like too thick. So let's maybe like push those down a little bit more over here. Let's see, we got that top beam, and then yeah, it is a bit of a shame that we cannot really see this one. So maybe I should just kind of like push it down a little bit more over here. Yeah, that works. So we got like our rooftop pieces here, and this one will extend out. Now, what you can also do at this point is you can always already play around a little bit more with your lighting direction to see if you can get something interesting by going into the directional light. And you can just like over here play around with like the rotation. So here, let's see, like, so just adding like a little bit of extra shadow. And I can also set my source angle, which will basically make my shadows a little bit softer. But that will come in just a bit. So I think that this is pretty good. One last thing is that right now I feel like I get distracted by like the more higher quality roofs here. So what I will do is just for fun, to end off this chapter, I'm going to grab like just a flat piece of roof that I have over here. And I'm just gonna kind of like place it in position. Let's turn off my snap rotation. Just gonna scale it up. And then I'm going to show you a fun little technique that we can use. So if we just go ahead and first of all place these roof pieces here. So of course what you might guess is like these are straight, everything below it is bent. So what you can do is if you go into your modeling tools, you can first of all just merge these pieces together to turn them into a brand new object. And then we can go into our lattice or lattice, I don't know. I never know how to pronounce it. But we can go in here and set this one to 2. And maybe this one to like, let's see, not this one, x-axis. Yeah, x-axis to 3. Which allows me to then select these points and softly, select these points and softly manipulate the roundness over here to give it still that round effect, like that. And there we go. So now if we go back here, see, that just like it fits a little bit better. Even though it's a block out, I like to do that kind of stuff just to make everything fit a bit better. So that is about it for this chapter. In the next chapter, what we will do is we will start by focusing on the left side area. And after that, I think we only need one more chapter to focus on the foliage and polish. And then we are pretty much ready to go. So let's go ahead and continue with this in our next chapter.